Hi, I'm Stephanie Stuart, Vice President for Communications and External Affairs for Parkland College. I'm your new host of the Parkland Report, and I hope you'll join me this season as we talk to some of the familiar faces around the college about what's new and what you need to know here at Parkland College. Hi, welcome to the Parkland Report. On today's edition, we're speaking with President Tom Ramage, and we'll talk a little bit about what's new here at the college and some exciting things for the upcoming year. Dr. Ramage, welcome to the show.
Always great to be here. You're new.
I am new.
That's
I'm the
fabulous.
new host of the Parkland Report.
How'd that happen?
Well, I got a new job.
Very good. Very good.
So now the Vice President for Communications and External Affairs.
What are you going to be doing?
Well, I will be doing communication efforts for the college, working with marketing, non-credit courses, and business training and community education, working with the Child Development Center, government relations, entrepreneurship.
It sounds very exciting.
Keep going. Yeah, it is.
Good, good.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, we're glad to have you, that's for sure. So we're doing the Parkland Report.
We're doing the Parkland Report. So we're just catching up with you a little bit. You've been president for almost 11 years now.
It's coming up on 11, yep.
And with the college for 20. So what's changed since you came to Parkland and
My hair
became
color.
president? Your hair color.
Yeah, so I used to have black hair, pretty black hair. Now it's got some highlights in it that I didn't have done through my barber.
Okay,
so
some
yeah,
natural highlights.
I'm aged a bit. So no, the college is still in great shape. You know, it's always been a fabulous institution. It's been well regarded by the community for 52 years now that it's been in existence. And I think the goal is to keep that up, obviously, to maintain affordability, accessibility, and most important, academic quality. And I think that's probably been a theme throughout the last maybe 52 years, is the fact that when students come here, whether they're interested in transferring to a university or going to work as soon as they finish a certificate or a degree, that they're extraordinarily well prepared for either of those two outcomes. And they're both great outcomes.
So what is the mix of our students that come to us that are wanting to transfer versus getting a credential that helps them go to the workplace?
Well, we talk to them and talk about our students generally in terms of like thirds. So about a third of the student population comes here interested in a professional, technical career. So generally a certificate that's as few as 6 credit hours, all the way through an Associate of Applied Science degree, which could be as much as 72 credit hours. And it prepares them really to just enter the workforce as soon as they're finished. So think graphic designer or a fireman or a nurse or a dental hygienist. That's about a third of the total population of the college, which is about 16,000 students by head count these days. The second third of the population are interested in transferring somewhere to one of the universities in Illinois or somewhere across the country. Our largest transfer destination is the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Some 1,500 students go there each year.
Do you think that's a big draw for students to come to Parkland from
huge.
out of the district?
Yeah, I think so. At one point, a full 25% of our population came from outside of the Parkland district, primarily the Chicago area, and I think a lot of that had to do with our proximity to the U of I. So for sure. Numbers 2 and 3 in terms of transfer are usually Eastern Illinois University and Illinois State, with about 700 to 750 students each year transferring to those institutions. And then it really broadens out from there. It's obviously the state of Illinois institutions are most popular, but our students go all over the place.
So how do our students know that their credits will be able to transfer? What's the process by which our courses can take them to other institutions?
We guarantee them through a process, well, it's a statewide process called the Illinois Articulation Initiative. So any course that's designed to transfer to a senior institution, a university in Illinois, we send out a course syllabus, we call it a course information form, that describes what students should be able to do when they finish that course with a good grade. The universities take a look at those courses and match them up with their freshman, sophomore level courses, and assuming it passes muster, they stamp it with what's called an IAI code. It's all very technical. But what it means basically is a student is guaranteed that that course will get them the freshman or sophomore level credit at that university without question. It's basically a transfer guarantee.
So what are the reasons students want to come here first to transfer? Obviously the affordability question, it's almost a given, but what are some of the other reasons? What will they get here in terms of experience that maybe other institutions don't offer in the same way?
Sure. Well, quality of the faculty and of the programs is probably number one in my book. The depth, the breadth, and the draw of a place like Champaign-Urbana with the amenities in the town, certainly the university. But this particular place in Illinois is very attractive to people for a number of reasons. We have a research park, we have a nice vibrant downtown. Parkland College in particular has a huge number of programs relative to the state of Illinois in terms of what other community colleges offer. We have a pretty broad curriculum. You can get a lot of things done here. We have a special relationship with the University of Illinois in terms of a pathway where several different majors have guaranteed transfer options into that particular major at the University of Illinois. And when you're talking about programs that have top 5 or top 10 rankings in the United States, that's pretty attractive. When a student can pretty much guarantee themselves a seat at that in that program at the university, if they maintain the grade point average and participate in all that good stuff, that's a great thing. So, amongst other things, those are probably the top.
So we did a recent focus group
Yeah.
in my group, in the marketing group, and we were talking with current students about why they came to Parkland. And another one of the reasons we heard was this idea of a transition step. And we also see that on the high school side with more students enrolling in dual credit. So what do you attribute that to, or how do you see Parkland's mission changing over the course of time to help to serve this need?
Sure. Well, I would attribute it to smart thinking, number one. You hear often, regardless of the institution, about students changing their mind, changing their major, changing their focus, taking a class that really sparked an interest that they didn't really know about. This is the place to do that because, number one, you can do it without breaking the bank. Number two, you can do that with faculty who are dedicated, number one, to the teaching activity. There are no external diversions. There's no other mission other than making sure that our students are prepared for whatever class, whatever degree, whatever certificate they're interested in. So those two things, top of the list, would lead me to think that Parkland would be a fabulous place to start. And if you do it via dual credit, well, that's even better. Number one, it's probably not going to cost you anything, or if it does cost you, it's pretty minimal. And it gives you that, again, early look at the career that you're thinking about. It gives you early credit that, again, almost guaranteed, well, if it's transfer course, it's guaranteed to transfer. That's a lot of transfers.
It's a lot of transferring.
So, but it's a good thing. It's a great, smart, affordable, easy way to start.
That's what we hear from our students when they come, and so we want to tap into that from a marketing perspective to open up that door for enrollment and to let students know why we're a great place. So switching gears a little bit, we've got a couple of exciting initiatives for the upcoming year. I'll start with the financial side and then we'll talk about programming maybe after our break. But tell us a little bit about the bond refinancing the college did. There's a lot of technical terms going on around bond refinancing. Can you explain it in layman's terms?
Sure, and maybe I'll start with the punchline. We're saving our community money. So
everyone likes that,
exactly. Right? Nobody can argue with that, just about. It goes back to a decision that the board made in 2006 or so. We were out of space. We needed some more classrooms, more labs, more offices, and the way to do that was to build new buildings. And in the process, we renovated the existing buildings. They were getting a little bit dated, needed some new roofs, elevators, paint, lights, all that sort of basic infrastructure. Well, in order to afford to do that, we had to sell bonds, basically take out a loan that the community was the guarantor. They paid back that loan on our behalf via their tax bill, their property tax bill.
Now this is also paired with some state funds, is that correct?
Correct. Part of some of the buildings we built had state money contributions, I think 3 of them in total, but the bulk was locally funded or taxpayer funded. So in order to pay back those bonds, a little bit of money, like 4 cents or so, of the total tax rate that a person would pay toward Parkland, paid back that bill, that mortgage, if you will. Well, interest rates since 2007 have gone down for bonds. So very recently, the 3 issuances of bonds that we had became callable. In layman's terms, what that means is we have the opportunity to refinance, just like you would refinance your house. If the interest rate goes down enough, you can save some money, and that's exactly what happened with us. All said and done, it saved us about $6.6 million, or I say the taxpayers, $6.6 million in money that they don't have to pay in property taxes for the remainder of the bonds.
So was the result any more money for the college in the end?
Zero money for the college. This is all done for the benefit of the taxpayers. It was something that we had the ability to do. It was a lot of work for the business office, a lot of work for our chief financial officer. We had to go through a mountain of paperwork, and the bonding agencies wanted to make sure our ratings were exactly where they needed to be, but all said and done, it was a great thing to do for the community. And again, it's a small amount of money for the individual, but the aggregate is pretty important, and it's a good thing.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
President Ramage, thank you.
Sure.
And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the exciting initiatives for the upcoming academic year.
Today we are having our annual welcome convocation. This event is sponsored by Student Life with the help of our Parkland College Foundation sponsors to welcome our new and returning students to campus. You'll see we have activities such as bull ride. We have information such as our motorsport cars out here so students can see opportunity to join a motorsport club or to take classes and get a chance to drive those cars. We have a lot of departments offering information. We have free Kona Ice, and thanks to our convocation sponsors, we are able to provide our students with a free lunch provided by our Betsy's Bistro at Parkland. We always enjoy this event, and we're so glad that our president, Dr. Ramage, has graciously chosen to help us with this event by challenging students to play Guitar Hero. We hope that they have a chance to talk with some of our student clubs and organizations and find out about opportunities to make new friends, to engage, and to be of service to their institution, to broaden their horizons, because this is an opportunity to meet new people, to find out about new ways of being leaders, and also about the resources we have available to support them in their academic career.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. And I'm here again with Dr. Tom Ramage, president of Parkland College, and we're going to pick up on some conversation that we had a moment ago, but this time switching gears to some initiatives for the upcoming year around some of our programs. So can you talk a little bit about Institute of Aviation, some updates that are coming there?
Sure. The Institute for Aviation has been part of Parkland College for about 3.5 years now, so operating more like a grant program. We weren't terribly sure how we were going to operate with the Institute for Aviation. It was brand new to Parkland. We had no experience with aviation whatsoever, but the opportunity came about as the University of Illinois divested some of its programs, and we had this very interesting opportunity to see if we could make a go of it. Long story short is we did make a go of it. We're doing pretty well. We have a number of students enrolled in the program. I think I heard this morning 22 students on a waiting list, which is both good and bad. I wish we'd get all those students in. That would be awesome, but we have a bit of a problem. We need more faculty. We need more certified flight instructors to be able to handle that volume of students, and they're hard to come by these days.
That's an industry shortage, isn't it?
That's a nationwide, actually worldwide shortage of pilots.
So it's almost like the education component needs to be there, and then the profession.
It's chicken and egg, isn't it? How do you get faculty who are qualified to teach students when they're being sought after more and more by the airlines to fly the airplanes? Well, if you don't have the faculty, how do you get more students or teach the students to become pilots? Yeah, you understand. So that's a good problem.
Yes.
Our program is robust. It's on the right direction. So this last spring, we've rolled it into a regular functioning department at Parkland College. It's no longer a grant-funded program.
And so some of the funds from the bond, the original bond issue we were talking about before the break, some of those can be used for some technology for aviation. Right. So what are we going to be purchasing to continue that program?
Sure, very leading question.
It is.
Yeah, we're looking at purchasing some new flight simulators. So as you might imagine, a flight school is reliant on computerized simulation for a number of different reasons, safety reasons, cost reasons. Our flight simulators were a little old. And we have a great resource here in town with Frasca. So we're looking at spending about $300,000 in refurbishing or refreshing those flight simulators this next year.
Great. Well, it'll be interesting to see how the students can utilize that, and
Absolutely.
probably a little more comforting that they're starting in the simulators before they get in the plane.
Right, absolutely. And in the process, we're also upgrading our fleet. We have approximately 29 aircraft that we'll be downsizing that fleet just a little bit, but refurbishing the planes that we have into what's called all-glass cockpits, which is sort of industry standard now, instead of the old dial gauges that have a little pointer. They'll be all digital.
Oh, very cool.
So that should be an interesting upgrade as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll translate well to industry.
No doubt.
Well. Another one of the updates I wanted to chat with you about today was precision agriculture.
Right.
A lot of really cool conversation happening around precision ag, but what are we working on and what are we building here at the college?
Sure. Well, precision ag seems to be the direction that the ag industry in general is going. More reliance on global positioning satellite, computers, precision application of inputs, whether that's seeds or nitrogen or fertilizer, things that I don't know much about, but whatever aids in the productivity of the farmer's crop. That progression toward more precision in the agriculture field has generated a whole bunch of opportunity. We have a National Science Foundation grant that is assisting us. We have a second one in process that deals with UAVs, or unmanned aerial vehicles, that essentially look at the crops and determine where water is needed, where fertilizer is needed. Those two grants combined, plus a potential third, make for a very interesting opportunity for Parkland to create a center for precision ag that serves perhaps a multi-state area. And bringing in students, showing them how to operate this technology, fix the technology, interpret the results, and improve their home farm or their corporate farm, wherever they work. And then we have the opportunity to train a whole bunch of people who are currently farming that have an interest in this technology that don't know anything about it yet. So we see it as a very interesting potential to expand our ag program in a very, very big way.
It seems to make a lot of sense with the university in our backyard, as well as Research Park and some of the companies there, for this to be a destination for the educational components.
Lots of different components can come forward and make our program a very attractive destination.
Well, it'll be exciting to see how that unfolds, and
yes.
We're making some capital investment there as
we
well.
are. Actually, we've dedicated about $1 million in terms of construction to double the size of our precision ag lab and create this physical place, this center for precision ag at Parkland College. This is on top of a couple $100,000 in equipment that we've purchased. We've had a huge amount of donations from companies like Helena, who are very involved and very interested in precision ag. The companies that you mentioned in the Research Park, there's probably a dozen, maybe 10 or 12 that are very interested in what we're thinking about here, and we'll hopefully be good partners going forward.
Great. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with enrollment at the college. I know that's been a topic of conversation in past years. So what's the latest information on enrollment at this point?
We continue this semester, although to a lesser extent, to see a little bit of enrollment slide. It's been the case for about 7 years now, where we're seeing small decreases fall to fall, spring to spring, to the tune of 2 to 3%, and that's continuing. But there are some hopeful signs that this may be turning around. I've read that Eastern Illinois University and Southern Illinois University have basically flattened out their enrollment. They're sort of leading indicators. You can get a little sense of what's going on nationally from watching them. But the community college system in Illinois, and certainly nationally, this is a perennial problem for us all. What's happening? Where are these students going? And I think the answer, at least in some of the studies, is they're not going anywhere, which is troubling. I don't think the number of jobs or opportunities for students requires less higher education than it did just 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. It's actually requiring more. So it would seem to me that our enrollment would be picking up fairly soon, perhaps maybe more in the technical areas. Those seem to have a little bit more attention these days, both nationally and locally. There's a great need for tradespeople, whether that's union trades or people like automotive technicians or collision repair techs, locally in particular. Those are great job opportunities. There are dozens and dozens of jobs open right now that could be filled with as little as one-year certificate at Parkland College, and they pay pretty well.
They do. I hear that from employers when I'm out in the community, just talking about the jobs they need to fill. But then we also have this skills gap in the community.
Right.
So what's the potential if community members who are really needing that next advancement in their career were to take advantage of their community college, be it Parkland College or wherever they live? What do you think are some of the hurdles to them doing so?
Well, the easiest way to affect a solution is a small investment in a scholarship, something like $500 for a student to help offset the cost of books or fees or tuition while they're going to school. Almost guarantees you an employee at the end of the road. That's a very likely, a very possible outcome. Apprenticeships along the way, providing opportunities for a student who's actively engaged in studying at Parkland to spend some time in a shop, in a lab, in a place of business where they can get some practical experience. Paid is always best, but unpaid is certainly a possibility as well.
Yeah. To actually get that hands-on experience before they go out in the workplace.
Yeah, and it's an aid to the student as well. It ensures them that they're again in the right career, that they're making the right decision for them.
That's great. Well, those are all the questions I have for you today.
Okay.
Is there any final thought for the upcoming year that you have for us?
Well, it's going to be a fantastic year at Parkland, just as it has been for the last 52 years. But I think it's going to be a very interesting time to watch what's going on both nationally and in the state of Illinois with a governor election coming up. I think there's lots of great potential for higher education in Illinois going forward.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
That's it for this episode of the Parkland Report. Thanks for joining us.